Got your Wi-Fi on, man.
Got your Wi-Fi on.
Oh, we got twins.
Yeah, come on, you know how we come from.
I ain't even playing
And they got me mic'd up.
What happens when two new players, ignored in the draft, doubted by experts, and forgotten by everyone, meet again at a big NFL practice? That's what went down when Shedeur Sanders, stuck as the fourth-string quarterback for the Browns, and Jimmy Horn Jr., a guy picked super late by the Panthers, faced off on the field. This time, they were on opposite teams, but instead of just catching up like old pals, they showed the whole league they were wrong about them. Here's the crazy part. Shedeur didn't even throw a touchdown pass. He only completed 4 out of 7 throws, no scores, no mistakes, just super calm and smart quarterback moves. It wasn't about the stats though. It was about how he acted, how he led, and how the vibe changed every time he stepped up to play. It felt real, like something big was happening. And for the first time in the Browns' messy training camp, Shedeur was shining all on his own. Meanwhile, Jimmy Horn was tearing it up against Cleveland's defense. This is the same guy Shedeur called the heart of their old team at Colorado, and now Panthers coaches are saying he's one of the best picks from the whole draft. So here's a question nobody's asking yet. If these two guys are already doing awesome in the NFL, why did everyone ignore them before? What happened at this practice might make the league wish they hadn't. The stats don't jump out, but the story behind them is what matters. Shedeur Sanders went 4 for 7 in the Browns' practice against the Panthers. No touchdowns, no bad throws, just clean, smart, and sharp quarterback play. To someone just glancing at it, it might seem like a boring day, but if you watched closely, it was a big deal. While everyone was focused on who threw the most touchdowns, Shedeur was doing what great quarterbacks do, controlling the game, staying cool in the pocket, and making smart choices. No showing off, just being awesome. And when you're listed as the 4th quarterback, every play you get is super important. Now, let's look at the other Browns quarterbacks. Joe Flacco went 8 for 13. Okay, but not amazing. Kenny Pickett, who was out with a hurt leg for almost 2 weeks, threw 2 touchdowns. Sure, that's cool, but he's been gone for a while. Dillon Gabriel, picked before Shedeur in the draft, got 1 touchdown, but still doesn't seem in charge. And Huntley? He just showed up. So why is Shedeur still stuck as the 4th guy? He makes the best decisions, keeps the ball safe, and he's the only Browns quarterback not throwing risky passes. This isn't just about favorites. It's about who's actually playing better. And Shedeur, the guy they call a project rookie, is playing like he doesn't need any fixing at all. But what happens when another underdog, now in a Panthers uniform, starts getting attention too? While Shedeur was calmly picking apart the Panthers' defense, Jimmy Horn Jr. was making waves on the other side, wearing a different jersey but with the same never-give-up attitude. He wasn't doing it with hype or big headlines. He did it like he did back at Colorado, with super speed, perfect timing, and a huge chip on his shoulder because the league ignored him 207 times in the draft. The Panthers picked Jimmy Horn Jr. in the 6th round, a choice that didn't even make a blit for most people. But for those who saw him burn defenses at Jackson State and Colorado with Shedeur throwing to him, they knew this wasn't a gamble. It was a steal. And now, Panthers coaches are saying it loud and clear. Head coach Dave Canales can't stop talking about Jimmy's energy, how he runs every route perfectly, and his never-stopping effort. He's playing fast, finding open spots, and acting like he's been in the NFL forever. In a recent practice game, he took a tricky route from Andy Dalton and ran it straight into the end zone. It was like something right out of their old Colorado plays. Same timing, same trust, same speed. But what nobody's talking about is how it felt to see Shedeur and Jimmy on the field together again. These two weren't just teammates. They were like brothers, fighting the same battles. Both ignored, both counted out, and now both proving the NFL wrong. What's next, though, might show just how much Shedeur is still struggling behind the scenes. Not against defenders, but against the Browns' own system. Even when his dad, Deion Sanders, isn't around, his shadow is still there. That's the life Shedeur deals with every day. He could play perfectly in practice, lead drives in preseason games, and still, there's this weird pushback in the room. Not from his teammates or fans, but from the NFL's way of doing things. Like they don't know how to handle the son of a legend. Coach Kevin Stefanski told reporters this week, "We're past that," talking about Shedeur's arm soreness. That means Shedeur is totally healthy and ready to play. So why does it feel like the Browns are still holding him back? He's getting the fewest chances of any quarterback on the team, even though he's the most careful with the ball. He hasn't thrown a single bad pass. He's calm, he's in control. But instead of moving him up, he's still waiting on the sidelines. And we all know what would happen if Dion showed up. Cameras, craziness, and clickbait headlines. That's why Shedeur told his dad to stay away. He knows if Dion walks into camp, it turns into a circus. And the Browns would have another excuse to call Shedeur a distraction. One more reason to keep him with the backups. One more reason to say he's not ready without saying why. The Dion effect is real. It's not just about fame. It's about legacy, race, and the NFL's power system not wanting to give too much attention to someone they didn't choose to be a star. But when Dion's name isn't in the news, something even messier shows up. And that's where Shedeur's real fight starts. The Browns have a bunch of quarterbacks on their roster, but Shedeur's the one stuck at the bottom of the list, even after playing better than Gabriel in decision-making, showing more control than Pickett, and giving clean plays every time he gets the ball. This isn't about earning it. It's about who controls the story. Shedeur Sanders wasn't supposed to be here, and they remind him of that every day. So are the Browns holding Shedeur back on purpose? With all the drama, the depth chart games, and media distractions, there was a moment on the practice field that reminded everyone what football's really about. Friendship. Shedeur Sanders and Jimmy Horn Jr. were back on the NFL field together for the first time since their awesome days at Colorado. Two young guys ignored by scouts, underestimated by team bosses, and undervalued by the NFL system, now standing on opposite sides of the field, but their connection was still strong. Jimmy had the kind of day that makes coaches rethink their whole lineup. He was slicing through the Browns' backup defense with the same quickness and fearless attitude that made him Shedeur's favorite target back at Colorado. Scoring in the practice game wasn't even the big news. It was how easy he made it look. Same routes, same timing, different teams, same hunger. Shedeur wasn't throwing to Jimmy this time, but you could see the respect in every look they shared. He even told ESPN this week, "I really miss Jimmy. I miss seeing his smile at practice with his gold brill." That's not just missing old times, that's someone who knows what real teamwork. The NFL split them up on draft day, but fate brought them back together on the field. And in that moment, they weren't just late-round picks. They were stars proving everyone wrong, side by side. But the NFL doesn't care about feelings. And Shedeur still has one more challenge to face: the media that refuses to see what's right in front of them. Here's what the news isn't saying. Shedeur Sanders is quietly becoming the best quarterback in Cleveland, but he's still treated like he's just a side character in his own story. The numbers are there. The calmness is there. The leadership is clear. So why isn't the media giving him credit? Because Shedeur's success doesn't fit the NFL's usual story. Flacco is the safe, older guy, easy to cheer for. Pickett was a high draft pick, so his comeback is an easy story. Dillon Gabriel was chosen earlier, and the team wants that to look like a smart move. Huntley's a known backup from Baltimore. Safe, simple. But Shedeur, he's different. He brings excitement, he brings attention, and he carries the legacy of his dad, Deion Sanders, one of the most talked about athletes ever. That means the NFL can't control his story anymore, because if Shedeur wins, they don't get to take the credit. So instead of talking up his great plays, the media focuses on his arm soreness. They downplay his chances. They keep saying he's the fourth quarterback. Like that cancels out everything he's done on the field. But Browns fans are starting to notice. Social media is full of videos of Shedeur throwing perfect passes, fans calling out the unfairness, and questions aimed at Coach Stefanski's team. the pressure's growing because you can ignore the media. You can mess with the depth chart, but you can't hide results forever. And now, with Shedeur starting in the preseason opener, the truth is about to come out on the field. This Friday night, all the drama, excuses, and media spin goes away. Because when the Browns face the Panthers, Shedeur Sanders won't be stuck as 2B4 anymore. He'll be out there under the lights, taking snaps as Cleveland's starting quarterback. And across the field, his old teammate Jimmy Horn Jr., now making waves in Carolina, cutting through defenses and making his coaches pay attention. Two underdogs, two guys called risky late picks, but both already showing they don't just belong in the NFL. They're here to shake things up. For Shedeur, this isn't just a preseason game. It's his chance to take charge of his story, quiet the doubters, prove he's more than just his dad's son, and show every lie about why he wasn't picked higher in the draft. The Browns wanted to play it safe. The media wanted to ignore him. But Shedeur Sanders just made them pay attention. So here's what every fan, coach, and team boss should be thinking about Friday. If Shedeur plays great, what excuse will they use next to keep him on the bench? Because when the game's over, it won't matter where he was drafted or who his dad is. It'll be about what the game film shows, and the film doesn't lie.